Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie Steele and welcome to my video on how to make a mural. Let's get started. So here I am super close to one of the paintings. Here in Canada, I'm not sure how it is everywhere in the world, a lot of when people are manufacturing buildings and homes, they use tiles that are generally either 1 foot square or this 2 foot by 4 foot. And I'm gonna measure that and I'm gonna show you the ceiling, how it looks and why that's useful for when you're measuring. For a quick measurement, I'd go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 approximate feet. So 24 feet. That's a great way to get a measurement. Shout out to Bernie and for teaching me that that's a great way to measure things, especially if you forget your measuring tape. But yeah, thanks Bernie. And this is important for several reasons. One, because you want to be able to measure the space you're going to put your artwork on, because it's a really good idea to plan the size of your artwork or your sketch work in this size, because the easiest way to navigate the design is to have the same size. Like if let's say my wall was 8 by 10 feet, then I would create an 8 by 10 inch thumbnail not thumbnail because that's the beginning process of a drawing, but I would want my design to reflect the size of the mural in that way. If you're doing this for a client, obviously you're going to discuss what they're looking for. Perhaps they came to you for your work because they like your style. Now that we have the size of the mural and what design we're going to use, we're ready to think about what type of paint that we want. If you're on an acrylic interior wall, then there's a number of choices. When I say acrylic, I mean the type of paint, latex paint. If you have oil-based paint, which it's not common, but it happens, you cannot put acrylic paint on top of the oil-based paint. You have to have a medium that will go between, which is usually a primer that when you go to like a hardware store, you say you want to paint over oil with acrylic, and they will hook you up with that. When I first started to paint murals, I was painting them outside. I was using house paint, so exterior house paint, because I was doing bigger pieces, and I didn't really know about the other types of paint. So they are usable, absolutely, and I still use them in some cases where I'm doing a big piece, and it's cost efficient that way. Now for these interior paintings, I actually used tube paint, so I use like golden, Liquitex, yeah. So I usually use golden paints. So sometimes I just hop on over to Michael's Art Supplies and I will go ahead and use their tube paint, Liquitex Golden, and it works perfectly for these interior pieces. So now that we have our steps complete, we've done a consult with our client, we've figured out what the design will be, we know what the size is, we know the type of paint we'll use. Now it's time to transfer it. We can use drawing by hand, we can use a projector, or some will paint directly by hand. I don't do that. I generally design my piece, project it so I can see exactly where it's at, and then I go ahead and I begin the process of painting. It's very important to have your client sign off on the final image of the design before the design goes on the wall. I get my client to look at the image, sign their name right next to it, and I let them know that this is the design that will be going on the wall, and if they want any changes, they need to ask for it now before the illustration and painting process begins. It's also very important to try to make sure the space surrounding your mural is really well taped off and really well covered so that you don't expose those areas to paint. I'm saying this through experience. There are things that can remove paint on the market. I had to do that before, but you know what? I like to make sure that my client is satisfied and that I leave a nice clean space behind. If you are using words, names, or anything like this, it is super important to have it double checked by perhaps a friend or and the client as well. You want them to sign off on the names and letters, numbers, anything, because you maybe, creating something for a business. So you need to also keep that in mind. An important part of planning your mural is knowing what type of wall it's going to be on, if that structure is fit to be painted on, if it needs things done to it before it's going to be painted on, and if it's safe for you to paint in that area. These are important factors, especially when you're painting outside. Yes, like I said, I'm very lucky at this school. I've had the opportunity to do about 30 murals, so I've got a lot of practice in. And I first starting out, I didn't have a projector in the beginning, so I would actually, the first thing I did was an alphabet, and what I did was I printed the alphabet out from my computer, flipped it around. I'm going to show you this technique in another video, and I used the method of transfer that one of my art teachers taught me. That is amazing, but it does take a lot of time. So I will show you that actually in another video. But also just to say that you don't need a projector. You can do it with just a pencil and paint, and and love for art. So it's very important to keep in mind when you are designing the mural that the amount of paint colors that you are using, because the cost obviously does go up. You have to get more colors of paint or you have to mix them, and so you want to be aware and make sure that your client is aware that that more color generally costs more. Very important part of painting is having fun. Your energy, I feel my energy transfers through the painting when I'm doing the work. All right, those are the steps on how I make murals. Hopefully that was helpful to you. And like anything, especially in art, practice. Keep on practicing, keep on doing it. You're gonna keep on getting better and better at it, and always continue looking at things and being inspired. Have a great day. See you next time.